Alright, what we're going to do today is learn and prepare espresso coffee. The reason we're doing this is so that you can learn the barista skills that you need to work on a daily basis in the coffee shop. The first thing we're going to do is just look at the equipment that you're going to need. You're going to need here is your coffee machine, your grinder, which will grind your coffee beans into the powder that you need to make the coffee machine. This is your tamper, which you use to compress your coffee into your group head. Group handle. Once you're finished with that, you put it into your group head, and that is how you make your espresso. The other parts of the machinery of the coffee machine itself is you have your wand, which is used for steaming the milk. This top here is used for keeping your cups, your glasses and everything hot, because if you put your coffee into cold cups, it immediately starts losing its heat, so you're going to be serving espresso coffee. So it's always important to make sure these are always at a good temperature. Then you have this here is your gauge, which will show you what the pressure is at on your coffee, which you need to keep an eye on when you're doing your coffee. This here is for your water, so if you're making a pot of tea or if you were doing long black, for example. But what we're going to cover is how to make an espresso, which is the foundation of making any coffee. Any coffee that you do, you have to make an espresso, so we're going to learn today how to do that properly. You're not going to learn how to do it overnight, it's going to take time and practice. And then once we kind of got that far, what we'll do then is moving on to texturing the milk for the different styles, so if it's a cappuccino or a latte, etc. Alright, so the first thing that you need to do before even making coffee is just make sure yourself is prepared. So before every time you do a shift, so always just come in and make sure that all your equipment is set up and ready to go. So your machine has been turned on, everything has been put in place. You have your teaspoons, your saucers, your cups, your milk, your coffees in the grinder. The thing to do is never use coffee that's been sitting there overnight, because it goes stale and it loses its taste, or it'll end up being more bitter as you do it. The best thing to do is always grind the coffee to order. So then when we move on to the espresso, so there's a few steps when you're doing an espresso. So the first thing you do would be to get yourself ready. Get your saucer, get your teaspoon, etc. Just get them ready to go, because once it's created, once it's made, you need to serve straight away within 30 seconds. You want to get it to the table. So you get yourself ready to go. Then the next thing that you're going to do is grind your coffee. So for an espresso, this will take about 15 seconds. That should be enough to fill with your coffee. So once you've done that, remove the handle from here. The reason why it's kept up here is to keep it hot all the time, because if you do this when it's cold, the metal is going to conduct the heat, so your coffee espresso is going to be coming out cold. So if it's hot, you're going to be serving hot espresso. So once you've done this bit, is just get a cloth and just have a specific cloth just for this. You don't want to be using this for wiping tables and then cleaning this out. If you do that, the customer might as well be licking the table, do you know? So give it a good clean out from any coffee that's in there from before, and just make sure it's nice and dry. So you have two different types here. This one here is approximately 7 grams, which would serve a single espresso. And you have this one here with the 2 little drips, which is for serving doubles. That's approximately 14 grams. So once you've cleaned that out, the next thing that you need to do is just come over here to your handle and just put your coffee in. Now what you want to do is just fill it just above. So once you've done that, just give it a little shake or a little tap with your tamper, just to level it out a wee bit. You want to have it nice and flat. Once you've done that, place it on a solid surface and then press on it with a moderate amount of pressure, just to make sure that it's nice and flat. Keep your elbow at a 90-degree angle, because you don't want it going this way or that way, because this machine works through pressure. So you want the water to come through it all at the same pace to make sure that you're coming out with the right consistency. So once you're done that, just wipe around the edges just to get rid of any coffee that's along the sides, because you don't want it caught up here inside the machine. Before then you make your espresso, just give it a little run, just to clean out anything that was in there beforehand. Once you've done that, get your piece, put it in and get it nice and tight, not too tight. Once that's done, get your cup, place it like so, push the button. It should take about 27 to 30 seconds. So what you want to watch at the start is that it's going to come out almost like a little mouse tail at the bottom, and it's going to give a nice little flow. You can see here the pressure working as you're doing it. And the thing is, if you put too little coffee in, it's going to pour out too slowly, and it's going to be very watery, your coffee. If you pack it too tight, the coffee inside here is going to burn.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you a bitter taste to your coffee. So once that's done, it should be done around now. Just have a look at your espresso and have a look at the texture of it. So you can see that you've got this beautiful crema on the top.
Yeah.
So that will show you that you've done a proper espresso, show that it's been compacted up and done properly. So that is step one. Once you get this bit done, that's your foundation. You're good to go. It's going to take practice and a lot of time, but just have patience with it. If your boss allows you to do it, come in every day at the start of work, you know, and just make one for yourself. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. It's going to take a little bit of time. So once you're finished, get your espresso, present it ready to go, and serve it straight away so the customer gets it with the crema, because after about 30 to 40 seconds that crema starts to disappear and it's just going to look like hot brown water, which really isn't very appealing. So once you're done that, get this, tap it out, just give that a little clean, and another wipe and put it back up. You just want to make sure it's clean for the next person that comes along. There's nothing worse if you're busy and you want to come and use the coffee machine and it looks like a part of the Gaza Strip. You know, you want to make sure that it's ready to go so you can work quickly and efficiently.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next bit that we're going to look at is how to texture the milk. So for your latte, for example, what you need to do is get a cold jug. It's best to keep these in the fridge at all times. And then the best milk to use is full fat milk. It's easier to do it. So when you start, maybe practice using that. But as people's tastes are different, you know, with soy milk and low fat and all that, they all go at different temperatures. So the first thing that you want to do would be to fill your jug maybe a third to a halfway. So once you have that done, so we'll do a latte. So this will be the glassware that you're going to use for your latte. You get yourself ready to go, so as soon as it's made, you want to serve it to the customer at the correct temperature. So everything here is ready to go, the glass is nice and warm. So before we go any further, the first thing you need to do is just purge this. What purge means is you just want to get any hot milk or residue or anything that's built up into the pipes prior.
Blowing out of it.
Exactly, yeah, because this is so hot that when someone's finished with it, if they haven't cleaned it properly, you get a hard, kind of scaly, kind of residue, crusty residue on it, and you don't want that. At the end of the day, that milk that could have been sitting there for days, and it's hygienic reasons, you know. Yeah. So what you do is, ideally, we would like to have a thermometer, but what you do is, at the start, you get your machine, hold it at a little angle, and just have the milk, or have the wand just underneath the milk, because what you want to do is aerate it. So what you want to do is put it on full blast and just make sure that the milk is going around in a circular motion. And what you want to do is you want to aerate it, so just put little bubbles into it. Once that gets to approximately 40 degrees, you want to put the wand into the milk, just to heat the milk up. And then once it gets to about 60 degrees, turn it off and take the milk out. Ideally the milk will be about 70 degrees, but when you take it out at 60, the temperature is going to keep rising and get you to 70. If it goes anything above that, the milk is going to burn. Like you boiled milk before of it, you know when it burns it gives you that smell, it's horrible, So when you make a coffee, the coffee's not going to disguise the taste of the burnt milk, it's going to be terrible. And if you're a company that depends on selling coffees, and that if you're going to be selling burnt coffees, you're not going to keep your clients very long. You want to make sure that everything is okay. So once you've done that, you clean your wand like I was doing there. Just give the milk a little swirl, and just a little bang. That's just going to get rid of all the bubbles that are in there, and then you see how you have a nice meringue texture in there. So that is perfect for what you want to do. What you want to do then is get your espresso again. Where are you going? Good, not too bad. And again, just apply a little bit of pressure. You're good to go. The next thing you want to do then is just get your espresso, stick it into a wee jug. So while that is doing that, you can start preparing your latte. So the latte is ideally mainly hot milk with approximately a half an inch of foam at the top of it. Yeah. I always find the way that I personally do it is I get the jug and I pour it, just to let a little bit of foam out into it. And leave enough space at the top for you to put in your espresso at the end. Get it. I say you guys will probably do between 50 and 100 coffees a day, would it?
Yeah.
So you can see what kind of money that is. If you're paying $4 to $5 on a coffee, that's...
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing bad ones.
Yeah, $200 to $400 on a coffee, and if people get a bad one, they won't come back, they'll go somewhere else. You know, there's plenty of competition these days with cafes and that. So the next thing to do is just pour your coffee in. There you can see that for yourself.
Yeah, cool.
It's not too bad, is it? So you have your nice brown latte at the bottom and a nice little white head on top. So that's perfect to serve to the customer. So again, just prepare it, give it to the waiter or bring it to the table yourself, and as soon as you get back, clean the section down again. Yep. Every single time, just make sure you give it a clean.
Yeah.
The next thing that you need to do will be for your cappuccino. So again, the thing is not to use don't reheat the milk. You know, I'm sure you'll get bosses that will probably be crying out to save stock, you know, wastage and that. So you learn over time on how much milk is needed to make each one. You know, that's going to take time and practice. Once you figure it out, you'll get there. But don't reheat the milk. If it's only a little bit of warm milk at the bottom and you're using it straight away again, and you're adding cold milk to it, that'll be okay. So you could just do that. So again, you get your cold jug. You add your milk again, as I said, about a third to halfway. The milk will close. And then the same again. Get your wand, purge it, just to get anything that was there from before. Get the wand, and just sit it underneath again. You can see you've already given that nice foamy consistency.
Yeah.
Then once you're happy with that, just give it up to 60 degrees, put it in for a second, and take it out. Give the wand a little wipe, put it back in position out the way. So now you have your foam ready here for your cappuccino. Just give it a little swirl and a bang again, just to get any bubbles that are in here. This should bang straight out of it straight away. And again, just back to your espresso. Yeah. So what we did the last time, hit your group handle, just give it a clean wipe just to get out any previous coffee or moisture in that. Once that's done, back to your grinder, let it run for about 15 seconds or so. Turn it off, and just do it again. Get your tamper, nice and solid. And don't press it too hard, because if you do, the coffee is not going to come out, it's going to come out drip, 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 drip.
Yeah,
and it's not
flow
going
through.
Yeah. Once that's done, it's nice and flat like that. And you see how it's completely level as well?
Yeah.
Look. Perfect. And again, attach it on. So, as we said before, about 27 to 30 seconds is all it should take. Anything more than that would be too much. So while that's doing that, you have your cappuccino cup. You have your glass ready. So while serve it straight to the customer. I think so.
There you go.
What we'll do after this is get you to do examples,
Yep.
just to practice yourself. So we'll be loaded on coffee by the
Yeah.
end. So
Be ready for the shift.
yeah. So once that's done, then get your espresso. I always find I put the espresso in first when I do my cappuccinos. Again, just give that a little shake again, just to combine the milk and the foam. Once that's done, then just come around to the side like this. I'm going to go cappuccino. And just come above the level. The cup, the foam won't move; it'll stay there, nice and solid. Then you can just add some chocolate powder if that's what the customer wants. So always ask them, because some people like it, some people don't. And here, presto, you've made your coffee. So what we'll do now is we'll get you to do a couple of practice runs and we'll see how you get on with that, alright?